Guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do Black Sun issue number 2 by Wildstorm Comics by Mark Andreyko and Trevor Scott. Suggested for mature audiences. So I have to be careful what I'm showing, but we'll see. Let's dive in. So we have this, I believe, prostitute. She is going to the bathroom. She says, "Oh, where is it? It's so big in here." And this guy here is sleeping in the bed. It's just around the corner, front to the right, and then we see these eyes, and immediately, so we jump right into it. She is, she's dead. So, okay, well, that's something. Okay, and then I have to be careful because there's some nudity in here, and then skip a couple of pages. So it seems that this I believe. Let me see how what's this guy's name is. Well, it doesn't say. Anyway, this guy is it's the bad guy. I mean, he's on the cover. It's the bad guy. So the bad guy said, "What are you doing here?" And she said, "I'm protecting my investments." And he wants to know if this guy is up to the task. And he says, going a little bit back because I forgot the story a little bit. I'm sorry, I do this all from my head. He says, he insults him. He says, "Your race is so fragile, like spun sugar. I hope your niece won't break so easily." So yeah, this is Zhao. This guy here. This guy is Zhao, and his niece is Maggie Sun. Maggie Sun is the, I believe, one of the chief police corp thingy in Asia, somewhere, China maybe. And then he says, he says, "Well, I got it covered." And he says, "You best be right, Zhao, because if not, I'm taking my time breaking you piece by piece." So, and then we see Maggie here waking up and doing her, daily stuff. And then she's getting a call from a boyfriend. And basically he's a journalist or something. And he's going to I believe the Himalayas or the Tibet. Yes, well, it's also in the Himalayas. And he has a story there, so it's going to be taking a while that he is coming back. And she says, "Well, okay, take care of yourself and call me back when you got home." And he says, "Yeah, love you. I know. Bye." And it's really nice. So I love the whole fact. It's really flowing. From waking up, putting your clothes on, getting ready, and then actually the next one is going to work in a hurry. There's small little details, small little things that it's really enjoyable. Art looks nice too. It's a little bit maybe too cartoony for my taste. Well, I'm saying that wrong. I don't mind cartoony art, but I'm still surprised. There's a lot of mature stuff in here. There's nudity, there's blood, there's some swearing here and there, but it doesn't really stroke with the art. And I have a couple of comics that does the same, and I don't know. I'm still not prepared for that. And I'm not saying that's bad. It's just when I have mature storylines and mature themes, I always think of more quote unquote realistic art instead of more the cartoony-esque. Although this is not really too cartoony, it's a little bit small of a mix. It's a style. So yeah, I have to get used to it, and it throws me off a little bit. But at the same time, the more that I read this kind of stuff, the more it's quote unquote normalized for me. So not a bad thing, but I wanted to point it out because I can imagine that some people say, well, this is a little bit weird. And then with all this graphic stuff in here, that doesn't add up for a lot of people. But it's not a bad thing at all. It's just it's just a preferred style that these creators use to tell the story. Anyway, so these little kids are in front of the some kind of how do you say, toy store, and there is stuff from the warehouse that we see in the last issue, and this guy says, can you believe this? I've seen hero addicts looking for a hit calmer than this. So these little kids are very excited to get the next new toy thingy. It's not really mentioned in this comic again, but probably it's going to lead into the next one. So I wanted to highlight this anyway. And then we go to the Precinct, and then, well, I'm not going to go into this particular part, but let's say Maggie comes in and this commander, I thought he was a police officer or captain, I believe, but in this particular part of the world, they call him commander. And I'm not sure if Maggie is then a lieutenant. I have to look that up again. I'm not entirely sure anymore. I'm sorry. But, okay, so he says, well, we talk about this later, because they have a conversation about what happened in the warehouses and that they have to identify liquefied bodies. But they also want to know who the owner is of the warehouse, because that's an important part of the story. So Maggie comes in and wants to talk to her father, and she says, I got something for you. And he says, sit down. He said, just read it. He says, what's this? And then she is, a little bit angry and surprised. A suspension letter? You gotta be fucking kidding me, she says. Well, and her father says, no, actually not. Your actions at the warehouse standoff are unacceptable. She says, what do you mean? Ending an armed standoff is bad, but he explains that he has done stuff like this before and she get a lot of warnings. And he has to make an example, because if he is not doing that, it's going to look bad. And other people that work there thinks that she's getting some kind of a, how do you say, they call it, Jesus Christ, preferential treatment. Jesus Christ. I'm sorry, my English is not that good that I'm, roll that very easily from my tongue. Preferential treatment, because she is his daughter. She is his daughter. Yes, correct. Okay, cool. So she says, I need your gun and a badge, and your badge. Did you not actually just say that? You did not just actually say that. That is so Lethal Weapon. Okay, I have to say something about that. So this comic is, 20 years old? Or plus, from the 90s. And she says, this sucks so bad. So what is the whole Lethal Weapon thing? Well, if you are just old as me, Lethal Weapon is a movie. But this is one of the reasons that I do not like quote-unquote modern things. At that time modern, but now old for us now here. Putting into comics, because into, let's say 20 or 30 years, that's not really recognizable anymore for a lot of comics. So let's say I'm 20 years old, right? And this is from the 90s. So let's say 30 years old. And I'm reading this, and most young people do not watch very old movies. I mean, there's a couple of them. I know a lot that, like 70s, 80s movies, although they are mid-20, 25. But mostly they are just watching movies from their time period, a little bit below and a little bit up. So if this person that read this comic for the very first time do not know what Lethal Weapon is, you are looking at this line here and says, okay, what are you talking about? And unfortunately, there's a lot of modern politics thrown into comics now that is not really relevant in 20 or 30 years, or maybe even 10 years from now anymore. So if then, a new person, a sane, picks up that comic and you talk about gender equality and stuff like that, you got to be scratching your head. I said, what are you talking about? What do you mean gender equality? Or what do you mean Lethal Weapon? It's not bad, but I prefer not to throw modern things in it. Well, old. But it's not really bad. Maybe I'm just overthinking it. Could be my problem. Yes, let's leave it at that. Where were we? Oh yeah, I lost my train of thought. So Maggie and her dad is visiting her parents, and she's still sulking that she is, turning in her badge. And then the commander is, hello, Sue, or Sue. And then he sees her brother and his wife, his sister, I guess, right? Yeah. And he says, "What are you doing here, Zhao?" He says, "Uncle Zhao, just visiting my sister-in-law. Is that a crime? Leave here now." She says, "Pop?" So, yeah, there's still some rivalry or animosity here. And he says, "Your race is upsetting Jade, Sue. Here you go, dear. I will see you soon. Goodbye, Maggie, Sue." And then he says, "Stay with your mother. I will be right back." So, yeah, there is some argument here between, the two brothers. And he says, "You better release me, big brother. You don't scare me, Zhao. All your money won't mean a thing when you are dead." And he says, "Well, are you threatening me?" And he says, "No, but it's not a threat. Call it a prophecy. One that will come true if you ever set foot here again." So, and they're having a fallout, and he says something stupid, and he punches him. And he says, "I'm going to get you for that." But he does not do anything because respectfully for Jade. And then some. Oh yeah, guys, this is a Sims ad. You're not going to see this. You're never going to see this in a comic again as an ad ever, because modern politics. Okay, looks great. Anyway, that is some weird imagery right now. So the brother kisses the other brother on his cheek because he's a bloody mouth, and he says, "If you ever lay a hand on me again, Maggie will have two absent parents, one mentally, the other physically." Now that's a threat. And so Maggie says, "I wish you two would stop with these pissing matches. Let's not talk about it." So, okay. So this continues. It says, "Visiting hours are over soon. Let's enjoy the time that we have." Okay, that's nice. I love that. But then Maggie later, when she comes home, gets a telephone call from her boyfriend. He says, "Well, we have some stormy weather here, so I cannot get home." So and then also the line breaks up a little bit, and she says, "Okay, bye." And then the door rings, and there's a guy in front of her door, and it says, "Miss Margaret's son, that would be me. Delivery for you from," it doesn't say. "Sign here, please." Looking very ominous. So there's a ticking sound. Perhaps plastic? "Have a nice evening." "Oh, Nathan, you shouldn't have." "He didn't, bitch." Okay, interesting. So we go on to the next scene is, we see her father in, let's say, what is it? Some kind of a district with prostitutes. And she says, I'm the law, little girl. That's not what he said, but that's basically said what's happening here. So he talks to the other agent that was in his office a while back, and they figure it out who is the owner of the warehouses. The owner of the warehouses is by a company called Yama Inc. And who owns this Yama Inc.? Zhao Sun. So yeah, there's going to be a fallout. So he drives to the hotel to his brother, and he knocks on the door and he says, "Zhao, I know you in there. We have to talk." "Turn around, Zhao. What are you up to?" "Little man, you couldn't even begin to wrap your feeble mind around it." And then he shoots him. But we see something strange on his neck, and he has also these glowing eyes. So it's none other than this crazy lunatic who I still do not know who he is. But yeah, that's the end of book 2. Looks like a Street Fighter villain. Anyway, I have fun with this comic. Is it good? I don't know. It's a little bit cheesy and a bit over the top, but it's not bad. It's just okay. No, it's fun. I talked about a lot. So far, it's fun. I believe there's 6 issues, I guess. And I want to know who this Street Fighter guy is. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.